shouldn't have done. If I could, you know I would take it back. Wide awake in a lot of bed, thinking I might not see the next day end, hoping that I got it in me to see this through.
How's everybody doing? Another review today. I got my buddy Paul here again with me. Big music fan, guy I go to for a lot of the music that I like, and he comes to me for a lot of music that, you know, we have similar musical interests, so we try and bounce ideas off each other. And this is a band that he actually showed me, and I fell in love with immediately. We're going to review off of their head second record today.
And here it is.
In Desolation.
In Desolation, the one that started it all for me. Second album.
Me too.
2010. Reptile.
They got a new one coming out this year too.
March 12th, so look out for that.
Home?
So, yep.
Oh, it's called Home. I believe it's a concept record about missing home so much.
And the new single's called
Nightlife.
Nightlife.
Nightlife. Great single. If you haven't heard it, it's up on YouTube, and check it out because this band is really good. They're one of my favorite bands in this, what we're calling new art, the new wave of American punk rock. I don't care if nobody uses that term.
That'll be up on Urban Dictionary very soon.
Very soon, I'm sure. Someone will take it.
So we're not going to explain it here, but
yeah, but definitely one of my favorite bands out right now. They pretty much they pretty much rolled my 2011, and with all we saw them actually in a basement for $5. One of the best shows I've ever been doing in my entire life. I was so drunk.
yeah, as were all of you.
We were all drunk. But Ryan Young, their singer, the thing about him is they're not a consistent band like a lot of things. It's just Ryan Young, and I think does he have
Just whoever's there for touring.
Whoever's ever there, isn't there? But isn't the drummer a consistent member too?
I know one of them is either the drummer or bass player.
Okay, but basically it's a project by a guy named Ryan Young, who's a very, very cool guy. And they've had a lot of releases, a lot of splits, a lot of EPs, but only 2 records, this being the second, the first one being in From the Bottom.
Which they've been around since
2000?
2001,
Yeah,
2002. And the first record, the Hospital EP came out in 2006. The first album, From the Bottom, came out in 2008. And this one came out, as I said, in 2010. So for the first, like 5 or 6 years, there's just a bunch of splits and a few EPs that they probably pressed like 100 copies of. But
yeah, a lot of hard to find stuff with this band.
So like, just a few official things, and then
the
ton of splits.
Huge though.
And a new album.
They've also been on a ton of comps and stuff. But anyway, this is their first record on Epitaph. What were they on before? Do you remember?
No idea.
No idea.
That's
no idea was the label. Ha.
But if I didn't know, I'd get away with it.
Against Me's old label. Yeah. So I think they've actually played some shows with Against Me.
Mm-hmm.
They did. We saw them with Against Me and didn't.
We
even
had no idea who they were.
When they opened for the Dropkick Murphys.
Probably one of the greatest lineups we've ever seen.
Yes, and we didn't even realize who they were.
Jay Weinberg's. The first time we've seen him.
It was a broken leg. Yep.
Anyway, Ryan Young described it as pretty strange because it was their first ever stadium show.
And it was at Mohegan Sun Arena with the Dropkick Murphys around St. Patrick's Day.
I lost $500 that day.
No, we didn't. None of us were even old enough to gamble. But it was fun. We stood out and
waited.
Who
said it was gambling? But go on.
Who said? But it was a fun show. We stood out and waited for about 6 hours before anyone was there. But we're wasting so much time. Let's get to the record.
Okay, so
standard.
This is what it looks like again.
This is what it looks like. I don't know who.
Show on the backside.
That's
Mitch Hedberg.
That's Mitch Hedberg on the cover. Yeah. But pretty standard other than that, you know. The record isn't colored or nothing. It's just the standard. I think there are colored versions of it though.
There's a red one on eBay right now. Trying to win.
I got this at a show. It was mad cheap. That's why I got it. But you know, just a package and there's the lyrics are in there and stuff. But that's the packaging. Pretty standard. But let's get to the songs.
All right. So first off, we have Drive.
Any success to a great record, you need a great intro, and it's a great intro.
And this is one of the first albums that I've ever bought based on the opening line, is I've been watching myself turning from bad to worse.
It's a great song.
So, great start from there.
Otherhead seems to have a lot of negative themes. Not negative as in like kill yourself, but just like, it's a great album. They're great music to listen to when life got you down. But they're not. It's a weird kind of thing, you know?
But the songs are very, like, melodic. Like, it's got a pop punk feel to it, so they sound happy. And then, you know, the lyrics kick in. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. So it's got that perfect, and
A very good balance.
You know, like the distorted guitars and the bass, and just got, yeah, like you said, a great balance.
Mm-hmm.
And just got, you know,
A little
elements
bit,
of...
a little bit of everything. I think that's why they have so much appeal to a lot of people. I very rarely meet somebody who doesn't like this band, especially if you're into that kind of music. Their Own Medicine has like one of the greatest intros ever. There's no real music before just the opening line, which is, I know it's fucked up, but I can't forget all of the bullshit I've been in that happened in the past. Yeah, all the shit that happened in the past. It's like, and there was like nothing. It's just like, bam, there it is. And it's
first chord.
First chord,
Holy
he's
shit.
screaming, and it's just great. And like I said, a lot of like hostility. And Ryan's voice really does separate this band from everybody else. He has a very distinctive voice. Trying to breathe.
Somebody told me he sounds like the lead singer from Smash Mouth. And I can kind of see it.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
But there's really nothing to elaborate on that.
Yeah,
but
Trying to Breathe is one of my favorite songs of the record. Great lyrics. This whole record has great lyrics. I'm not going to kill that point about every song, but great
and
lyrics.
this one's just titled ZZYZX, which I guess stands for In Desolation, which we'll call it a title track.
It's a semi-title track, I guess.
Never really seen that before.
The Eyes of Death. Awesome song. I love
One of
that
my
song.
favorite songs. Second favorite. We'll get to where the first comes in.
Old Man. Just.
This one.
What do you think it's about?
Well, it's a ballad, and
Yeah.
I think it's about him as an old man. I
Pretty
think it's
much.
him looking into the future and kind of looking back on all the mistakes that he made. Now, I've never asked him, but
I never did either.
that's just what I get out of it.
All I Can Do. It's one of my least favorite, but it's still a good song. It's like one of those records where it's like even the songs you don't like that much.
Just doing like, it's like one of those days where you wake up and go, fuck this.
Yeah.
And you go back to sleep.
There's a lot of
and
that
just-
in the music.
And you just open up your cabinets and see, let's see what I can take to go back to sleep for a long time. Kind of like the time I slept for 2 years.
Yep.
Moving on, I Need You. It's, anything to say about this one?
I like it. It's a good song.
Short song, as
Yep.
with most of them, but pretty much says all it needs to say.
Yeah.
You know, when you got that one person you can turn to, no matter, it doesn't really matter who it is.
Spare Time is a fun little short song.
It's got, sounds like the riff to, what's that Springsteen song?
I don't know.
Dancing in the Dark.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. I never
Actually,
noticed that.
to go back, Their Own Medicine sounds like that. There's a melody that sounds like the Pina Colada song,
It really does. Yeah.
and I think it's the chorus.
I just wanna-
It's like the
yeah.
before the chorus.
The thing about this record that I always found interesting, and it's like I'd never like to just play like the last song which I'll get to was called Clear the Air. It's my favorite song on the record. It has one of the greatest videos I've ever seen in my life because it has nothing to do with the song and it was made in one take, which I love. Kind of OK Go style, but it's a great song. But the thing about it is, the last three songs I can't help but always play them together because they just flow so well. It's a good flowing record, but especially towards the end, flow impacts my opinion of our records a lot, actually, especially when it comes to just flat out scoring it. You know, because you just want to be able to put something on your turntable and just play it through.
And that's
This is
what
one of them,
they've
you know?
done on every record.
Yeah,
It's,
they really
like,
nailed
especially
that.
the
I'm sure they will
Hospitals
again.
EP.
Yes, I'm sure they'll do it again.
That's why I'm excited to hear the rest of it.
Yep.
So you want to talk about the first one?
I just want you to know that it's like there's such a heartfelt song, simple yet really good. It really reminds me of something that Against Me would write. Only it's obviously like I don't think they're trying to rip that, but it just. But I always love about Against Me is they're simple yet passionate songs. That's what it reminds me of.
And my episodes is it's more like an acoustic song,
Very short,
and then
and it's just really
kind of reminds me of Sink Floor to Sink a little bit.
a little bit. Like I said, like it's made probably why I love
It's got like
this.
the chimes in the background.
And it's just like a really simple song. And seeing it live is something to really be experienced. But Clear the Air is it's my favorite song on the record. It's their most popular song too, which is I hate being that dude. But
There's a lot of T-shirts I can't buy because of that.
yeah. But it's such a good song. It's like sing it live again. I think when we saw it live in a basement with like 50 kids
to close out the show.
To close out the show, I don't think he sang more than 3 words of the whole song, and everybody was just screaming it and jumping on each other on a stage that was that high off the ground. You know.
And if any one song has said everything that needs to be said,
it's that.
And if you've heard the album and know what the songs are about, and we, you know, you
Look,
can
if
pretty
you
much
want-
relate to
yeah.
what I was going through, or maybe what you were going
What
through,
anyone was going
for the
through when
first
they were-
time listening to this, or when you need to refer back to it, and you know, the girl that leaves you and moves halfway across the country with some asshole,
Yeah.
and you flip on this record. I actually flipped on the first one, and then this one played them front to back, but that'll happen. All right. Just- and
Don't
then
mind him.
You can come down and have a drink with me.
But
And but this just pretty much says all it needs to say, and the music video is fucking great.
It is great, and it's just such a good way to end a record, and it really puts you in the mood to just go. The second you hear that song, you're like, wow, let's start it over again because I want to hear the whole thing again. But this is one of the best records that came out in 2010, and it totally dominated my 2011, and I'm still listening to it, and it made me fall in love with this band. If anything will make you do it, it's that record, and it's that song. It's this record, it's that song, I should say. But trying to come to an end here. I'm going to give this record a bite on vinyl. I definitely love this record. If I have to give it a number score, I give it a 9 out of 10. It's borderline perfect. There's only, like, there's just something there that isn't, like, it's so good, but it's not worthy of a 10. There's just something it's missing. It's not even that it is missing something. It's just, like, it's really hard for me to get a 10. You got to be, like, one of the greatest records of all time for me to get a 10. Paul, what's your verdict?
Well, I don't do number systems. I'm going to say buy it. Buy it now. Buy it on vinyl. Buy it on CD, because the CD's going to scratch like a motherfucker. Mine does. You got to buy a new one. Go see them.
You're going to wear
Go
it.
buy a shirt.
And talk to them, because they're good people.
Talk to them. And have a great time. Go see them, you know, whether it's a basement or an arena. You know it's going to be a great show. And
I really feel like they're one of those bands that are on the cusp of being something huge. I think they will, especially being on Epitaph.
yeah, I think after this album, we're going to see some great things from them in 2013.
It's kind of like how I feel with them. This I really feel like Home. Just to throw a little bit of a prediction out there, and I'm going to end this in 20 seconds because I don't have to go over 12 minutes. I feel like Home will be there on the impossible pass, where people will finally open their ears and be like, the 3 records in, they really do start to understand how good this band is. And they're from Minnesota, so there's obviously a little bit of Pushka do influence in there. Anything to close out?
Say off with their heads, straight up.
All right. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share it. Thank you, Paul, for being here. Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Peace.
Where's my money?
I wanted to tell you, I wanted to share some important details that you're unaware of. I want you to listen, I want you to care. I'll choke to death if I don't clear the air. It's not a secret that I obsess, and then I get angry, and then I get stressed. And you can't imagine, and you can't compare. You've no frame of reference, and then you get scared. I'm doing my best to help make you see that it's not your fault when I beg and I plead. It's much easier just to go back to sleep, but we gotta find a place to start because I'm falling apart.